Welcome to the Evolve Beyond Limits podcast. I'm your host, Stacey Geisel, self-mastery coach and mentor. The mission of Evolve Beyond Limits is simple. Fall in love with your life and change the world in the process. And each episode of this podcast is dedicated to helping you do just that. It's designed to bring you one step closer to an aha moment that could completely transform your life so that you can keep evolving into your fullest potential. The reality is how you show up in the world matters, and I don't want you to waste another second living a life that doesn't light your soul on fire. So let's have some fun. Welcome back to the Evolve Beyond Limits podcast. Today we are going to rock and roll, and we're going to talk about not dumping our shit on everyone else. Okay, not literal shit. This is like emotional and energetic shit. So I want you to think about this for a second, because every human is born. We are these souls that are filled with kindness and respect and honesty and fairness and righteousness, right? And then through social conditioning and cultural conditioning, we start to live in a world of constant stress, pressure, impatience, anger, fear, worry, all of these super negative, energetic, low vibration things, right? And I want you to think for a second, just for a quick second, put a percentage on it. How long do you spend on the first list in your life? How much percent of your life do you spend feeling kindness and respect and honesty and fairness and righteousness, compared to how much of your life do you feel in constant stress, pressure, impatience, anger, fear, worry? Here's the problem, is that most people are walking around in that second list, and it's probably 90% of the time. And the thing is that all of those negative emotions, all of that negative energy, it drains our life force energy, which is our chi. So the more time we spend in that energy, the less life force we have. So it's no wonder that people are struggling to feel joyful. They're struggling to feel happy. They're struggling to feel fulfilled, because by the time they get done feeling all of these negative energies, they've got nothing left to feed their soul, to feed their spirit. We're not tapping into our creative energy, our sexual energy, all of these other energies that make us feel alive in our life, because we are too busy being drained by those negative emotions. And this is what I mean by we can't dump our shit onto everyone else, is because what's happening in our world today is nobody knows how to process through feeling those negative emotions. Everybody would rather numb out than feel their way through it. And with energy, it cannot be created nor destroyed. It can only be transformed. And because we don't know how to transform it, we're dumping it. We try to dump it. We don't want to deal with it, so we dump it. But here's the problem with dumping it. Someone else has to pick it up. It doesn't just go away. So if you don't choose to own your shit, both the good and what feels like the negative, then you are essentially passing on your karma. And it's going to come back bigger and feel like even more difficult to handle the next time it comes around. Because when you think, if you can't handle sadness and you dump it, it's going to come back as depression. If you can't handle anger and resentment, it's going to come back as hate. It's going to come back even bigger than it was. And because that feels even harder to deal with, you're not going to deal with it. You're going to dump it again. And if you think about this, this is what's happening in our world. This is why people are so unhappy. Because everyone is dumping their shit on everyone else instead of handling it and working through it and transforming it. This becomes a really vicious cycle to break free of. And the first thing that you have to do is you have to take responsibility for your part in this cycle. You have to own it. Feeling is part of the human experience. We actually want to feel it all. Emotions are not good or bad. They are simply the thing that alerts us. It's a gift. Okay. Our emotions are a gift that shows us what needs some attention. That's it. It's a gift that shows us what needs attention. And if we numb it and we don't deal with it and we pass it along and we dump it, then we don't get, not only do we not get the good, like we can't just avoid one end of the spectrum, is what I'm trying to say. We don't only avoid the bad, we also avoid the feeling really good. And again, the problem is if we don't own our emotions, right? And most people don't they do pass on the joy, but it's a very different thing. We like to pass on negative emotion. People like feed off of that shit. That's why having one person in a room that is super negative, it just sucks everyone dry. Right? So you have to own it, because if we don't own it, then it's just going to continue to multiply. And it's going to decrease not only our creative energy, not only our life force energy, but also our sexual energy. And people are going to continue to struggle because it feels easier to pass our problems on rather than actually sit with them and feel all of it and move through it. Right? So the cool thing is all of this, and this is all based on Tao tradition, but all of this depends on these virtues of love and joy and kindness and gentleness and respect and honesty. Right? And so the first thing that we have to do is we have to have those things for ourselves. And how many of you out there, how many of us, this used to be huge for me, could say, I love myself. I respect myself. I treat myself kind. I deserve joy. I'm honest with myself. If we can't give it to ourselves first, then we're screwed. You can't pass on an energy that you don't have. But what's so freaking cool about this is when you start to feel more of this, you start to feel more love, joy, kindness, gentleness, respect, and honesty for yourself and for the people around you, then it inadvertently means that you're going to feel less anger, fear, sadness, depression, stress. Whoa, right? So I always say that don't get so caught up in your healing journey that you forget that the other point of life is to enjoy it. Because enjoying our life, genuinely enjoying our life, creates a ripple. We share, because now we have learned to love and respect and be honest with ourselves. And then we can pass that along to other people because we have so much of it to give. That's a big deal. And you don't have to sit in the healing process. Sometimes we do. But to transform our stuff, sometimes that happens just in the living, giving yourself permission to live fully. I have learned in the last year that I have healed just as much when I am sitting in pure joy and bliss and excitement and happiness as I have sitting in the shit and the darkness and the anger and the sadness. There's a lesson in everything. And maybe While we can learn so much from those dark times, if we sit in it, if we allow ourselves to feel through it, but maybe we can learn just as much in the times that we're allowing ourselves to genuinely be happy, to be in the moment. Do the lessons have to hurt as bad as we sometimes make them hurt? So, as you go through your week, through your month, through your life, don't pass on your shit. Own it. Sit with it. Talk to somebody who is prepared to help you through it. Not somebody to pass it along to, somebody who's going to help you move through it. But the first thing you have to do is own it. You have to clear your water first. Own it. Don't try to dump it. Don't try to run away from it. Don't try to avoid it. Say, okay, I see this doesn't feel great. Doesn't feel great to sit with it. But what can I learn from this? How can I transform this? How can I see the lesson that I'm being taught here and move through it so that I don't ever have to come back to it? Right? Because that's what avoiding it, that's what not doing it. It just means you have to deal with it twice or 3 times or 90,000 times. Work through it the first time. Don't pass on your shit. And until next time, let's go change the world.